Stupid, dumb.
Hi. Good morning, good late morning or early afternoon, whatever your perspective might be. It's not great to stay up late. It's not. Well, maybe sometimes it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. But good morning. Welcome to Lolo's Lounge. Welcome to the Daily Down Lolo. Good morning, Oomph. How are you? Welcome to the Daily Down Lolo. This is the attempted daily show. It doesn't happen daily, but who cares? What are you, the title police? So this is the Daily Down Lolo, and today I put together a little bit of a little walkthrough. Well, not really. I mean, I guess mostly. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Mark Burnett today, and this is a work in progress, so I want you to lower your expectations. I am not. Hi, gal. Speaking of OSINT, I am not an OSINT expert. I don't know. I am not a researcher. That's not my forte. Starting? What do you mean starting? So I don't have like OSINT skills and all that stuff like my super cool friends do. But I did just pull together some information because I have questions about Mark Burnett. And so this is just scratching the surface. And probably most of the people in this room will probably be like, duh. So hold your duhs until until you can go slam me on Twitter or something. Okay. Anyway, so I started looking at Mark Burnett, and I really, the big thing about Mark Burnett is that, well, first of all, I think Mark Burnett, I'm not sure what role Mark Burnett plays in all of this, but every time I look into a new corner of Mark Burnett, there's more and more and more coincidences and circumstantial things that are I think they just cause me pause, right? Like I'm not saying whatever. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So I think Mark Burnett basically brought the drama, and now we can't have nice things. And believe it or not, Mark Burnett was once, hi Jen, hi Jim. Mark Burnett was once a t-shirt salesman on Venice Beach here in California. After he left the British military, where he fought in the Falklands War, he was like a part of a paratrooper regiment or something like that. Then he moved to California, and he was a nanny, and he sold t-shirts on Venice Beach. I shit you not, okay? I really shit you not. Yeah, the Falklands. Yeah. Okay, so there's number one. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of this kind of, his world definitely crosses over. But anyway, so here, let me just go through some of the notes, and then I'm going to go to some articles and stuff that were interesting. Yeah, right? I don't know why he was a nanny. I don't know. He's a flim-flam man is what he is. Okay, so I I'm obsessed with media literacy. I'm obsessed with like kind of, mind fuck and all that kind of stuff. That the Gal Squad and Jim have really done a lot to uncover. And when I look at Mark Burnett, I just continue to see like mind fuck after mind fuck. It really does read like a spy background. Okay, so he grew up. Wait, I have a picture. Hold on. I have a picture. I think I did it. Did I do it? I hope I put it in here. I don't even know. Let me see. Here we go. He grew up, he was born in London, but he grew up in Essex. And I had this image of him. I don't even know if I have, I wonder if I have it. I can hear. Anyway, I made this image of him like he's, The Only Way is Essex. You know that show? Can you? I really think he much more strikes me as a cast member of The Only Way is Essex than he does like a multinational fuckwad. But here he is, multinational fuckwad. Okay, so and the thing that really drew me to him was because media literacy is so important in that I think it's a really important part of where we miss the boat is that he basically engineered his shows in terms of reaction and other things. And I'll go into a couple of details that I think really bring that home. So let me just read a little bit from what I wrote because I don't know how to read from a script. Can you tell? I'm much better as an improv, which means that I just don't know how to prepare. But it's something that hits me again and again in the landscape of media literacy is a turn away from the gravitas that seemed to be part of certain journalism in the past. But that's wishful thinking, and my perspective is mine. I think that others have been far less represented in media and have paid a far more significant price for the way media has ignored their stories. And I think this is just part and parcel of how we got here. So the other thing is that the part of media literacy that really gets me, and I say this a lot, is that I feel like we live in some kind of post-truth world, right? Where they say it enough times, what is it, Goebbels or someone said, if you lie enough, then the public will start to believe it, etc. Steve Bannon with the flood the zone. And I think that, as we see that start to crumble in like disbarment hearings and other things, I think it is a good opportunity to look at what media is feeding that system where truth doesn't really matter or facts don't really matter as long as you just keep saying it and somebody more powerful agrees with you, right? Because part of the sin of the right-wing media machine is that supposed serious politicians, etc., endorsed it. And that's part of why we can't even get out of it is because they won't stop endorsing this post-truth world. And it's just, it's, I don't know. Well, clearly. So what does Mark Burnett have to do with this? Okay. So obviously the biggest, one of the biggest sins that he's known for is kind of regurgitating Donald Trump for a new set of, I don't know who, willing public or something. And when he resurrected him, he made Trump into something other than the laughingstock that really all of us, collective wisdom, was that Trump was just, he was a line in a rap song. He would show up in Home Alone, whatever, like he was a joke. And somehow Apprentice really reinvented him for the public that hadn't been necessarily paying attention or already thought he was, the shit. So I think from that standpoint, we can definitely blame him for that. But I think there's more that we can lay at the feet of little Marky Burnett. I posit that he really conditioned minds to accept lies as presented and react with extreme emotion regardless of the situation, right? Like that was like a core feature of his programming. And if then you add lockdowns and all of these chickens now have come home to roost, right? Like you had a year plus where people really turned to social media, etc., fast consumption of media. And it just was like a fertile field. And now here we are, less than 6 months from an election, and we're just steeped in this kind of like fighting constantly to push the facts up to the top. So, I don't know. And now we have bird flu. No. I was also like he met Trump in Central Park when he hosted the Survivor finale at the Woolman Rink. That's where they first met. And then he did this kind of thing where he introduced The Apprentice, where he was standing in his like Survivor garb, I guess, and in the middle of a forest. But then the drone pulls up and it ends up being Central Park. And that's where he introduces The Apprentice. So to me, he's like a P.T. Barnum. And I'm going to talk about his Christianity. I am definitely going to talk about his Christianity. Your grandma. I mean, I can imagine. He really is this. He's the salesman. He is the total salesman. So, what was it? It was braggadocious and pompous. Okay, but Burnett, this is from I'm going to read this article to you because it's very good. One of these lines from this article really stuck with me. It was braggadocious and pompous, but Burnett, with his gut instinct, managed to turn Trump's liabilities, both financial and personal, into a gift. Hi, Clay. Oh, thanks, gal. I don't know. It's not as good as you guys do, but it's a start, and it just helped me understand a little bit more. Okay, I want to read this article. Hold on. There's a couple of articles that are really, really good. Okay, let me open this. And then let me entertain you. Let me make you smile. What am I doing? Am I reading that? Yeah. Nope, that's not one. Which one? Oh, The Ringer. Okay. All right. So this is an article. All right. This is a 2017 article. And it talks about... obviously Burnett and Trump and their relationship. But a couple of things will come out in this article that I think are really important. Okay, so I'll just read it. It's The Ringer, January 2nd, 2017. 13 years ago, reality producer Mark Burnett created The Apprentice and invented Donald Trump as we know him. Here, an exhaustive look at the career of a man who has redefined 21st century pop culture and politics. Mark Burnett stands in the middle of a wilderness. Trees grow around him. He makes eye contact with the camera, and as it begins to pull back, Burnett begins to talk about his new show. As the executive producer of Survivor, Burnett was already famous for the drama he could create in a jungle or on a remote island, amid the rats and the crocodiles and poisonous plants. But in this promotional video, Burnett tells the audience that he wants to set a drama in the toughest jungle of them all. He pauses for effect. New York business. The camera pans up and suddenly it's clear that he isn't standing in a remote jungle in the middle of an ocean. He's just standing in Central Park. Hi, Isabella. How are you? Welcome. You can guess what the show he's promoting, the first season of The Apprentice, and you're surely very aware of who the most prominent alumnus of that series is, President Donald Trump. But it was Burnett, The Apprentice's creator and executive producer, whom NBC wanted front and center in 2004. Few television producers have created as many massive hits as Burnett has. It is almost impossible to be an American in the 21st century without experiencing at least one of his shows. Survivor, The Apprentice, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Shark Tank, The Voice, all kinds of things. And this was when the Celebrity Apprentice with Arnold Schwarzenegger was going on. To understand is to understand the beginning of 21st century pop culture, from the emergence of reality television to the election of Trump. But to parse Burnett is far harder than finding one of his shows to watch. He's a Hollywood veteran, a practiced interviewer, and a man with a message. His representatives did not respond. So this article is actually put together by just existing information. He did not want to sit down with these guys. And the public statements he's made. But it has some really good, little nuggets. Let's see. He's in his 2001 Survivor 2, The Field Guide, co-written with Martin Dugard. Burnett explains the backstory and execution for the first season of Survivor. There are 13 different personalities. This is good. There are 13 different personalities that try to win Survivor, Burnett writes, and each type is needed to make the game interesting and competitive, though only some of them are characters he thinks could actually win the game. Over the course of his career, Burnett has played many of these roles in one way or another, so we've used his own designations to help explain his own life and try and figure out exactly who he is. The entertainer. There was no plumbing on the first season of Survivor, so the ocean around island became the trash can, the toilet, and the runoff. Burnett, knowing the gross sewage-filled water would make for good television, wanted the shot. Mark didn't ask anyone to go in. He just said, "This is what we're going to do, but I don't want to ask you guys to get in that," host Jeff Probst told Sports Illustrated in 2003. And before you knew it, pish, 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 the cameramen were jumping in the water. I thought, damn, these guys love Burnett. Burnett was only a few years into his career when he pitched the idea for Survivor, a part reality, part game, part adventure show that stranded normal people in treacherous terrain and pitted them against one another. With what would become characteristic chutzpah, Burnett refused to air the show as a pilot, insisting that it must be created as an entire series, which meant that he needed a lot of money to make it. Survivor's first season, which aired in 2000, would require more than 60 staff members and an island 4,000 miles from Los Angeles that had to be staged. It was a huge ask from a young, modestly successful producer. You have no idea the number of people far more experienced than I who told me that I needed to choose whether I was making a drama or an adventure or a game show, Burnett recalled in 2001. Several major television networks rejected him and his British partner, Charlie Parsons. They shopped the show for 4 years. I thought the pitch was the stupidest thing I ever heard, Les Moonves told People in 2004, but as Burnett told The New Yorker in 2013, the word no in his mind is just another new opportunity. Almost like a laboratory. Yes, that's... Wait till you hear. Mark is astonishingly gifted at persuading people. Let's see. Or as Probst put it, his ego is enormous, but in Mark's case, it is part of what makes him so charming. This guy is not an accident. He knows what he's doing. It would seem that CBS agreed. The network accepted the show, blah, 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 blah. Burnett has always had a charm in his back pocket. Born in 1960, Burnett grew up in East London. It was a happy childhood. Only child, never criticized. He watched American television, Starsky and Hutch, Dallas, Rockford Files, blah, blah. His parents took him camping and hiking in their native Scotland, where Burnett claims to have gotten the taste for adventure. He loved The Lord of the Flies. I think that's pretty... come on. Who loves The Lord of the Flies? Burnett skipped college and joined the British Army, the elite paratroop regiment, and after the end of the Falklands War, he immigrated to Los Angeles, where, legend has it, he convinced a wealthy Beverly Hills family that no one made a better nanny than a former paratrooper. Who doesn't love Lord of the Flies? I don't. No. He can visit a little bit. He also made money selling T-shirts and signing people up for credit cards on Venice Beach. He became a naturalized citizen in 1990. His first show idea came from an article about the Raid Gualaz, I don't know how to say it, a modern adventure race first held in 1989. In 1994, he built his own team to prepare for that race. Later that year, with absolutely zero television experience, Burnett sold Eco Challenge to MTV with nothing but a 5-minute video of his personal experience on the Raid. Eco Challenge was dubbed the toughest race in the world. More than 50 teams of 4 people raced 24 hours a day over a 500-kilometer course using no motorized form of transport. As early as the first season, Burnett was known for compromising the integrity of the race, setting more hurdles to add drama to increase its ratings. It paid off. Eco Challenge ran for 9 seasons, from MTV to ESPN, et cetera, et cetera. And After several years of producing Eco Challenge, Burnett had a revelation. The success of the show depended more on team dynamics and interpersonal skills than any other attribute. He wanted to make a new show that would capitalize on those particular dynamics. How does he know so much about personalities? He wanted to make a new show that capitalized, or as he wrote in his book, that would help men and women discover who they really were. Based on Parsons' Swedish series, which debuted in 1997 and had a similar premise, 16 people in the wilderness who formed alliances to complete survival tasks, Survivor became America's favorite show, seemingly overnight. Like Burnett, Survivor was charismatic and addictive and capitalized heavily on a superlative understanding of group dynamics. It also was just wild fun. There was always the possibility of a spider would emerge or the outback would destroy someone. The 16 contestants became minor celebrities. Richard Hatch, who won the first season after defeating a whitewater rafter in a 4-3 jury vote, was bombarded with press opportunities and became a reality show staple. The beauty of the show was, and is, of course it's not anymore, its authenticity. The belief that players were real people who, when put in such dire circumstances, would do surprising things to survive. Burnett has always been adamant that Survivor is not reality television. It is dramatically unscripted, unscripted nonfiction drama with real people, he told People in 2001. That's good marketing and more evidence that Burnett knows exactly what people want to hear. Quote, in sales, you better know your product, you better be confident, you better be inspiring, and you better be able to deliver, he told Esquire in 2001. But to sugarcoat its more manipulative aspects is to deny the revolutionary effect that Survivor had on reality television and our political landscape, I would add. Survivor established now classic reality television concepts like the single-person interview, confession, which contestants speak directly to the camera, though usually prompted by a producer whom viewers never see. The idea of every week sending home a single person who had been voted off by their peers became standard format on both Burnett shows and in the industry at large. And the show was innovative in its use of hidden cameras that shot far more than the contestants realized. They have no idea how invasive television can be, Burnett wrote in Survivor: The Ultimate Game. Or at least they didn't until the show aired. Burnett admitted, this is a good one, Burnett admitted to reshooting the first season scenes with stand-ins to give them better cinematic value. Yeah, he knew. Yeah, how did he know that? I don't know. Tell me more. Okay, so here we go. Burnett admitted to give them better cinematic value. He knew where the money would be. Viewer interest in the show will lie less with watching who takes home the cash than it will with observing how the game is played. Burnett told Media Week in 2000. To get the kind of fights and affection and betrayal that Survivor became known for, the contestants had to be manipulated, either directly or through circumstance. After the first season of Survivor, contestant Stacey Stillman filed a lawsuit claiming the producers interfered by persuading two of her tribe members to vote her off instead of someone else. In the deposition, one of her fellow contestants admitted that the producers were dropping hints about who would be best to vote off. The case was eventually settled out of court. I've seen him get people to do things I would have bet money they would never do, Probst told Sports Illustrated. So it wasn't exactly authentic, but it was great television. Burnett was giving audiences a reality they could want, one where anyone has the potential for success and fame and fortune. And Americans bought it. With 16 people in an island, Mark Burnett radically changed television and gave himself a launching pad for the rest of his career. Let's see. Let's skip ahead. More about his stone. Let's see. And Survivor's sociological effects are no less profound, if slightly harder to measure or process. More abstract and worrisome is the overall message the shows send, that life is an elimination contest, that difference means discord. James Poniewozik wrote for The Times in 2000. You can tease this idea out past Survivor to most reality shows and to cable news and to even media discourse as we know it. The game is persuasion, and the people are playing it the way Burnett taught them. The Leader. Survivor was a ratings behemoth in its fourth season. 23 million watched the premiere and 25.9 million watched the finale, which took place at Woolman Rink in Central Park. The live season finale needed a venue big enough to host its fan and cinematic enough to provide a little extra drama. The Woolman Rink is owned by Donald Trump. And Trump, for whatever reason, publicity, curiosity, financial gain, decided to attend the event. Burnett, never one to miss an opportunity, made sure to introduce himself. He told Trump that he had read his books, true, and that he was inspired by them, also true, at least in Trump's retelling. Then he moved on to business. He wanted to make a new show, and he wanted Donald Trump to be the star. Take note of the year. Where was this? What year was this? I have to... We'll find it, because it lines up with some other stuff. Trump was used to the interest of reality show producers. As a regular New York Post cover star in the 90s, he was the kind of giant personality a show could hang its hat on, but the first shows pitched to Trump were about the minutiae of his personal life, following Trump around while he met with politicians and contractors. No deal. He thought it would intrude too much into his business, and he still thought reality TV was for the bottom feeders of society, which is fascinating because here he is. But he met his match in Burnett. Mark Burnett is a great visionary, able to see into the future with far better accuracy than any of his competitors, Trump wrote for Time in 2004. His number one talent is having the right idea at the right time. Where that kind of talent comes from is a bit of a mystery. Not long after the interaction at the finale, Burnett pitched The Apprentice to Trump at Trump Tower. The meeting lasted an hour, and just as he had pitched Survivor, Burnett laid out the whole thing down to the tiniest detail. The show would feature competitions between two teams like Survivor. At the end of each episode, one person would be eliminated by Trump, and the final winner would get a 6-figure salary and a job in the Trump Organization. They shook on it. Trump got 50% ownership and a starring role in the show all about him. I had never planned on being a star of a hit TV show until Mark Burnett came to me to do The Apprentice, Trump wrote. He convinced me by promising that it would require no more than 3 hours per week of my time. It turned out to be more than 30. Yeah, like you weren't doing anything on that. Hi, Badger. Who financed reality TV? Well, let me tell you. No, I do have some information about Mark and money. It doesn't exactly line up with The Apprentice. During the creation of the show, Burnett and Trump were seen together constantly. They rode in Trump's limousine and helicopter. They played golf at one of his courses, went to a Neil Young concert, and enjoyed a Wyclef Jean record release party. Who didn't? Burnett went so far as to tell the New York Times he considered Trump a soulmate. The Apprentice is Donald Trump giving back, Burnett told the New York Times. What makes the world a safe place right now? I think it's American dollars, which come from taxes, which come because of Donald Trump. And what Donald Trump doing is what The Apprentice is about to show Americans, that you have to be an entrepreneur. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it's a bunch of bullshit. During Trump's campaign for president, of course, it became highly questionable how much in taxes he was paying, but it's worth noting that Burnett presented Trump's role on The Apprentice not as a grab for attention or power, but as his public service to teach Americans how to become rich and famous like him. Let's see. Okay, quiet micromanagement. It's Trump. Yeah, I thought that was a good shows. Okay. Where is it? Okay. So did America. The show Apprentice had 27 million viewers by the end of the first season. Trump did 9 interviews promoting the show. The morning after the premiere, he was invited to talk on shows on Today. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the part? Even Trump himself recognized the change. What I do on the show is essentially analyze people and then fire somebody pretty viciously. Oh, God, I hate this. Okay, well, I don't want to talk about Trump. More than that, Trump's character became exactly what Burnett hoped to make out of the show, a sellable example of American possibility. Americans are very giving. They're very pro-risk. They're interested in results, not what you tell them in which school you went to or who you know. America equals meritocracy. I'm all for it. This is not a reality that actually exists for most Americans. Social mobility is successfully rarer for each generation, and capitalist success is more likely to go to people with a $14 million head start, like Trump. But as a Brit, Burnett tapped into a belief the rest of the world held about America. If a working class kid from London who starts off as a nanny can make it in the United States, anybody can. He wrote to jump in. Okay. Oh, yeah. Product placement. Okay, that's fine. Sorry. Here we go. Now it's getting interesting. Once upon a time, in 2001, Mark Burnett and Vladimir Putin were going to make a reality show together. Do you know that? Did you know? I think I actually do remember this. But did you know Vladimir Vladimirovich, etc., was going to do, yes, that kind of thing. Well, okay. It's true. It was openly discussed in the New York Times. The show was going to be called Destination Mir. The idea was Survivor, but staged as a space race. Contestants would compete to train with astronauts. Burnett had to negotiate with Russia because the final prize involved sending the winner to their space station. The Russians, according to an NBC press release, were more willing to work with the show than was America's NASA program. I think Mir is going to be hard only as a political thing, Burnett told the New York Times. The show will be easy. I really want to do a space show, and typically, I'm quite good at making things happen. But Destination Mir never happened. The Russian space station Mir was rapidly deteriorating, and the Russians eventually decommissioned and destroyed it. Unburned pieces of the station fell into the Pacific Ocean. It was surely a disappointment for Burnett, who continues to chase his space show. Let's see. As recently as 2015, he was still interested in making a show with Putin. That was after they took Crimea. Destination Mirror is a rarity on Burnett's resume, an idea that never saw the light of day. This is a man who's used to green lights. Burnett has been the executive producer on more than 60 listening and stop doing dishes to say holy fucking shit. I know, right? Well, there's more. Okay, there's more. 2001. I know, I haven't put together like the timeline, but that's next. There's a lot. There's a lot on him. Okay, all right, so there's more about his failed series. I don't really care about that. Okay, let me go back to my little script. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, and so Putin was definitely like on his list, right? And to me, they make a big deal out of Mark Burnett's Christianity, which I will talk about. But he has been quite like opportunistic. He basically, let me get to the part where he yeah, he's like Mark Burnett to me is like a chameleon. I initially thought when I started looking into him, I'm like, oh, he's like one of those like evangelical Christian saddleback, bullshit kind of thing. Married to Roma Downey. So literally touched by an angel like every day, kind of thing. All right. They've been married since like 2007 or something. So he met her in about 2003. And that's when he converted to like heavy duty Christianity. Before that time, he was not a Christian. Yeah. Putin, Trump, Burnett. And there's more. There's more. Oh, there's more. So let's see, where's that? Okay, let me go to this one now. This is another article, and it is from 2019. I'll show you. Hold on. So this article is a Deadline article. This is from January 22nd, 2019. Zucker signed the checks. Burnett created the fantasy, and Trump played a reasonable facsimile of what a future businessman president might look like. It was a trust wash. Oh, good one. Greg Oliar. Thank you, Jen, for sharing that Greg quote. I know there's so many smarter people about Mark Burnett than me, please. I'm just curious, so I thought, I'll share my work. But there are many people who know exactly who this guy is. All right, so this article, U.S. banker with Putin ties reportedly tapped Mark Burnett to access Donald Trump transition team. Huh. I don't remember this article. This is a Deadline article. So ABC News is the latest media outlet shocked, I tell you, to report Donald Trump's apprentice producer pal Mark Burnett has had dealings with Russians connected to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. I didn't know this stuff. In Tuesday's much aggregated report, anticipated? I don't know, whatever. ABC News cites unnamed sources which claim that 9 days after Trump won the presidency, Burnett reached out to one of Trump's closest advisors to see if he would sit down with a banker who has long-held ties to Russia. ABC News reported that congressional investigators are looking into Robert Forsman, the deputy chairman of UBS Investment Fund. Whoa. Stop it. With Burnett's help, Forsman found his way into the daily calendar of Thomas Barrack, who at the time was chairing what would become Trump's inaugural fund. Guess who helped on the inauguration? Guess. Yeah, you're right. ABC News reported, citing internal emails, Burnett is the guy who was brought in to oversee entertainment for the inauguration festivities. Oh, my Lord. What a coinkydink. I guess it makes sense. Forsman had lived for years in Moscow, where he had led a $3 billion Russian investment fund and been touted as someone who maintains connections in Putin's inner circle, the news division reported. Deadline has reached out to Burnett for comment. Forsman wound up not meeting Barrack, nor did he get the role he sought with the fledgling Trump administration. ABC News reported all parties involved, including Burnett, declined to comment, to the news org. Burnett, meanwhile, has not shied away from talking about his flights into Putin's orbit. Quite the contrary. In 2015, for instance, Burnett said he was pursuing the Mir thing. That he was eyeing a series that would go. Putin topped his wish list. Responding to the suggestion Putin likely would rebuff Burnett's advances reality TV-wise, Burnett shot back, "How do you know that? I would think I could probably get through to most people." The producer, of course, instead helped turn that bankruptcy filing real estate developer star of his Apprentice franchise into the 45th president of the United States. And in 2017, Huffington Post reported Trump's Apprentice producer once did business with Putin, citing a newly unearthed New York Times magazine from way back in January 2001 that Burnett had negotiated with Putin's circle at the turn of the century. Blah, 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 blah. The show was to have followed. Okay, that's fine. And then Destination Mirror. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I think that's it for that. Okay. So there's another one that I thought was interesting. Bankers. Yeah, he's a friend of Tom Barrack's. He worked on so he's really, he is totally on. He's up to his balls. He's balls deep in this stuff. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I want to try and I'm going to get you. I have some pictures of Burnett that I made. Hold on. Because I know you want to see him. I know you want to see him. I know. I don't think. Okay. No. Add a new source. It's going to go really crazy. So just let it go crazy. Hold on. Let me get my Mark Burnett. Oh, wait, I'm going to get this one. This is the one I made that I really like. Hold on. It's going to be right there. I'll let you look at that. I made that with AI. That's him and Roma Downey as American Gothic. Okay, anyway, we'll talk about Roma in a minute. We'll talk about them in a minute. Don't worry. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. So let's see what else. So his kind of I really thought he would be, he was this lifelong Christian. But he really isn't. And he really does. Okay. So he is part of Focus on the Family. I haven't looked, SB. Do Manafort Stone intersect with Burnett? I haven't looked. We can do some live Googling. So Burnett spoke at the 2016 prayer breakfast, which I don't know was that the prayer breakfast where it was heavily Russian? Maria Butina? Didn't Butina go to 2016 prayer breakfast? Or Epstein? Yeah. I don't know. Because when was the Falklands War? Was what, 1998 or something? Was it 1990? When was the Falklands War? How embarrassing. Was it in the 80s or in the 90s? I don't know. No, he doesn't talk much. I think he's a psychopath. The 80s. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, Falklands War. Well, anyway, I think he came to California after that. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, so there was another story that was relayed in one of the stories I read, or one of the pieces I read on him, where he's friends with Rick Warren, who is the head of Saddleback Church here in Southern California and in Orange County. And it's a huge evangelical, Ponzi scheme, parading, disguised as religion. And so apparently, of course, Mark Burnett is friends with Rick Warren. And he apparently asked Rick, like he relayed a story to Rick Warren about being on a plane and not being particularly religious when he was younger, and that he thought of religion as that thing you think of on a plane where you better believe just in case the plane goes down. And it's like to me, like he screams like kind of like a bro, like he's just trying to get over on you, and he can play the game like a sociopath, really, not a psychopath, but a sociopath, right? So he's a very fascinating. So there's more. Okay. He also helped. He has some weird friends. Okay, let's start looking at some of his friends too, including his weird ass wife. Okay, so this is some of his friends. He helped found the Cradle of Christianity Fund. The Cradle of Christianity Fund. Doesn't it look normal? Why is it important to support Christians in the Middle East? So let me go to the part that makes sense for him, but that's what the goal of this fund is. I don't know what they do. Oh, they support rescue, restoration, and return of Middle Eastern Christians and other ethno-religious people to a home where they can live and practice their faith free from fear. That's what they do. How was it started? Let's read. The Cradle Fund, or whatever it's called, grew out of conversations between Mark Burnett and Roma Downey and the King of Jordan. They were concerned about the plight of Christians and others in the Middle East and wanted to do something practical. Mark and Roma approached Chris Seipel, the president of IGF, which is this hosting thing, Institute for Global Engagement, ICE, or IGE. Sorry, I don't know how to read. About working together. Chris then traveled to the region with Mark and Roma's chief of staff, Johnny Moore. Chief of staff. Oops, sorry. Let me make sure I'm up to date. And they witnessed firsthand the suffering of Christians. And blah, 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 blah. They met with many leaders, among them King of Jordan, the patriarchs of the Eastern churches. Are those aren't the Russian Orthodox, right? No. That's not the Russian Orthodox Church, right? Is that Coptic Christians or something? What is that? Who extended an invitation to come alongside the suffering churches to serve all those suffering. Yeah. Wait, why would a Muslim king care about Christians in the Middle East? But wait, how is that possible? Simply put, he believes that Christians are integral to the identity of the Middle East, and he says so repeatedly. For example, check out his recent speech at the UN. And that's the King of Jordan that he's talking about. ROC, Russian Orthodox Church, is either... Yeah, that's what I thought. So it would be... I wonder... I don't know when this fund was started. I didn't look at that. When was it started? Do they have an about? So that's 2014. That's 2014, 2 years. So this is posted before the prayer breakfast that he spoke at. And am I wrong? Is that the prayer breakfast that is the one where Butina? What? I gave the King of Jordan a tour of the AOL Network Operations Center when he became an investor. I hope I'm not to blame. You are! God damn it. And we finally cracked the case, kids. It's been Crazy Ivan all along. Hi, Crazy Ivan. Okay, let me go back to my little grass shack. Here we go. Yeah, he's also part of... he's also part of Focus on the Family, which I don't know as much about Focus on the Family as I probably should. But suffice to say, Focus on the Family actually went on the defense for him around the not releasing the Entertainment Tonight or the Apprentice tapes, which we will talk about. Okay. So, again, a lot of this is like circumstantial stuff that puts him in the network of real fuckwads, right? And all of that. He is, to me, a P.T. Barnum, so he may not be like the focus on family is Russian as fuck. Okay, well, there you go then. So there you go. Well, they certainly came to his defense. And I think of him as like a useful operative that is going to make money off of it, right? So opportunistic. I don't feel like he's a true believer in anything but the grind. You know what I'm saying? And he knew in order to get the girl, I guess, he had to totally buy into everything. I feel like he can just become whoever he wants to be. He's like the talented Mr. Ripley, but from Walmart. I don't know. Obama House Speaker Paul Ryan and Hollywood producers Mark Burnett and Roma Downey, speakers at the 64th Annual National Prayer Breakfast. Thank you, SB. Thank you. See, I think that was one where the Russians were pretty heavily in attendance, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Yeah, we're all playing Survivor now. Well, and I think the real piece of this is, the kernel that I get from, not never mind, but putting aside the kind of circumstantial and obvious ties that this dude has to bad actors in the world, is the manipulation that Burnett branded in television, right? Like, he branded manipulation. I looked at the history of reality television as part of this, like just some basic timelines. If you look at the reality television prior to Survivor or whatever, obviously there are dramatic pieces, but it's things like the Loud Family and what was the other one? Let me find it. There's just shows that weren't necessarily as manipulative, or at least it didn't have that level of group dynamic, kind of his manipulation of the cast. And that, of course, is now a staple in reality television, right? So what you're seeing isn't real. It's still scripted. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think that his manipulation extremes, give us permission now, these many years later. Yeah, the real world. That definitely was, yeah. But that even seems innocent in comparison to like Survivor, definitely not, because I'm sure there was a lot of manipulation, but this dude seems to thrive on that. The manipulation is the point. And I think what he did was establish it as a core piece. And now what I witness when I look at social media interactions or, whatever, is that conflict sells, humiliation sells, like all of these things that it definitely feels to me as if, and I love, I watch reality television. I don't not watch it. I'm not a purist or anything, but I'm just trying to recognize, because I think part of the media literacy answer is that if we recognize that these people are either driven by poor motives or they're actually just trying to mindfuck you, a certain segment of the population should also wake up that hadn't been awake before. I don't know. Let's see. And so going to distract from your point about his explicit, but his TV is received before reality TV is always like. Absolutely. No. Yes. Very good point. Very good point, Oomph. Right? Advertising in post-World War II got women out of the workforce and back into the home, right? all kinds of manipulation. Media can be manipulation. I can acknowledge that. I think what's interesting is that this guy intersects with geopolitics in a way that is more than seems more dastardly, right? So that's the piece that I'm trying to tease out is what does this mean for media literacy? And can we acknowledge maybe that this is part of how we are here now, where we cannot even have a conversation? I don't know. I'm just asking. I mean, I'm asking the question. So in October of 2016, yeah, more evil. I guess. I don't know. Degrees of evil. I don't know. That was pretty evil to get women out of the workforce. That was pretty evil. But I agree. This is, yeah. I don't know. It's all evil. Nefarious. Thank you. That's actually a better word. Nefarious. It's nefarious. More nefarious? I don't know. So in October of 2016, we remember that the Entertainment Tonight tape came out. And shortly thereafter, one of the producers of Survivor, or excuse me, The Apprentice, forgive me. One of the producers of The Apprentice said, Bill Pruitt, he said, there are hours and hours of Trump being an asshole, dropping the N-word, speaking ill of, blah, 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 being just an asshole. Yeah, I think Mark Burnett is the P.T. Barnum. I think he wants to control the narrative of the entertainment portion of it. And him and Roma have Lightworks, which is this huge Christian production company. They did the Bible. They do all this kind of stuff on Discovery Networks. There's another player in this game, is that the Discovery Networks have always been there kind of for him. Since 2015, I think, he's been the head of programming, like international programming or something at MGM. I think he's still that. I don't know. So he definitely still has a lot of cachet in the industry. He hasn't had as many hits, right? But at the same time, again, I don't know. I think he's probably not just making money off of his shows. I don't know. So yeah, they have Lightworks. Yeah, and I think this is I'm talking more about the legacy that he created and why did he create it that way? And shouldn't we know more about that? This is what bothers me about people like Tom Barrack. I just think that I know he's not. He's still there. He's still in the industry doing a lot, actually. They just did Ben-Hur and that flopped. They did a major picture, him and Roma, and that flopped like whatever. Let's see. Let me see what else I have. I have a few things. I think that's why I call it the Real Housewives of the Insurrection. Because it just makes so much sense. This is really what it's come down to. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure. Okay, I want one more article. Scooby-Doo. Okay, I need to close that. Oof. Oh, Jen, thank you. You didn't need to do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's really nice. Oops, my chat is stuck. How's the chat stuck? I have to refresh it. Interact. Well, how come it's not? Oh, how come it's not playing on my screen? Why isn't that doing it? But I might refresh it. I don't know how to refresh it. Oh, here we go. Refresh it. Chat's been well, I've been really busy. You had to drop and come back a minute ago? Uh-oh. I'm so sorry. Andy wants a reunion show. No, Andy. Yeah. Okay. I have this other article. I haven't read this article. I'm just curious about it. It's in the Wayback Machine. So hang in there just a second. Oops. I lost it. Oh, God. Jen! That's your super chat! Isn't that cool? I think that's so cool. Oh, good. All right. I love that thing. It doesn't come up all the time, but I love it. It's so cool. .com. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. That's not it. What is that? Oh, that's my thing. Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that. No, I don't want that. I want this. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's doing the wrong thing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, good. Oh wait, properties. Properties. It's properties. Wait, where's that? Which one is that? Rudy Confail. Okay, here we go. That's the one I meant to show you. I'm sorry. The tapes had to be made, Tom Arnold explained, because the FCC requires any discussion between a producer and member of a reality show to be documented. Yeah, the tapes exist. He just said he doesn't have access to them. That's what at the time Mark Burnett said, is that he doesn't have access to them. And actually, he has maintained that even though there was a couple of mentions of like, we're soulmates, that was early on. Lately, he just kind of he does not go out of his way to be pro-Trump. And he actually says things like, oh, I think I find what he says distasteful and all the affairs and whatever, right? So he's just playing the game. He's just playing the game. He is staying low under the radar and pops up when there's an opportunity. That's what he does. So I think we need to keep an eye on this guy. All right, let me see what this article is, because I just found this article this morning and I was kind of curious about it. I don't know what date this is though. I can't tell. It's very short. It's just a little thing. It's a blurb. Okay, let's see. Oh, I need to make it bigger though. Sorry. Can I? Oh, excellent. Mark Burnett has made, this is by Anne Keen. It's in Swindle Magazine. So I don't know what date. I'm so sorry. I don't know. What does it say on there? What does it say on there? I don't know. Well, anyway. All right. Mark Burnett has made millions capitalizing on people's need for social approval. Says Burnett, the producer and creator of reality TV mega hit Survivor Apprentice, blah, blah, blah. You try to tap into emotion. Social exclusion is a massive fear for people. I think his words are very telling. They're few but telling. Born in London in 1960 and raised in Essex. The only way is Essex. Burnett enlisted in the British Army at 17 and was stationed in Northern Ireland, which is where Roma Downey's from, by the way. Later, he was shipped off to the Falklands during the 1982 war with Argentina. Is that what it was called? A war? Okay. In 2004, he told CNN, "The Falklands War made me realize the glory of war isn't real. After one day seen over one night, I think 20 of my friends in body bags." So I'm so sorry about chat not showing up on the screen. I don't know why that's not. Come on. I'm going to do it really weirdly. Okay, we'll see what happens. Anyway. At 22, Burnett accepted a job doing contract security work in Central America. I didn't know that. The early 80s were a politically tumultuous time in the region, and the job was a risky one. It was through an independent company working with the American government, Burnett says. But I never did it. I changed my mind, mainly because my mother had a bad feeling. She had never had a bad feeling about anything I had done, and it spooked me. His flight had a stopover in Los Angeles. The young Brit walked off the plane and has stayed in California for the most part ever since. Burnett instantly found work as a nanny in Beverly Hills. I went from commando to nanny in 24 hours, he told CNN. So did he work with intelligence services or something down in Central America? Who did he work for in Central America? I was curious. I have questions. He then became an entrepreneur selling T-shirts on Venice Beach and later started his own credit card marketing company, which is really those idiots that stand in malls and try and sell you credit cards. He became a naturalized American citizen in 1990 and the following year led the first ever U.S. team in the Raid Gualesois, a rugged adventure trek often called the world's toughest race. Seeing business potential in the excursion, Burnett filmed the race and sold the footage to ESPN. This was the beginning of his foray into entertainment. He eventually bought the rights to the Raid Gualesois and parlayed the concept into his first TV series, Eco Challenge, which we talked about. Here we go. If he weren't a TV producer, Burnett says, I wouldn't mind being in Iraq in a great military unit. When he describes his reality shows, he references philosophers like Joseph Campbell, Machiavelli, and game theorist John Nash. Burnett's philosophy of human nature emerges as a somewhat cynical one, no doubt shaped by his traumatic experiences in violent combat and his current milieu of the hard-ass entertainment business world. In Survivor, I've tapped into death and rebirth, he says. When someone's flame is extinguished and the lighting goes from orange to blue, it represents death. The rebirth is when the tribe lives on without that person. That's why host Jeff always ends by saying, see you tomorrow. I deal with all those human touch points of emotion, camaraderie, attraction, integrity, sportsmanship. Machiavelli said it best, that being a leader and making hard choices is difficult. People won't love you, but the trick is to never make them hate you. That's the essence of Survivor. You're figuratively killing others and then asking them for their pains to give you $1 million. What a grandiose ass. Oh, I'm so sorry about the fucking chat. Wow. Let me see if I have anything else. Here you can see my notes. Oh no, you can't see my notes. Let's see. Yeah, and this is actually my final point. We ate that shit with dinner. Yeah, we sure did. So again, going back to the manipulation of media and kind of media literacy and things of that nature. I think especially what has been noticeable to me is the way not only what we consume, like from, just a one-way media consumption, right? What we're watching and then how we're thinking. But also what we see in social media, right? The interactions we have, the parasocial relationships, the arguing, the spectacle, because I think a lot about that, right? Like I think about, okay, I have 19 viewers right now between different platforms. Most of them are on Twitter. You can't see them down below. And I will, that is like, there is like a give and take on social media that doesn't exist in kind of a media consumption, right? And what I notice, right, and what's caught me off guard over the last few years of being deeper in social media as, you know, kind of newer to it, is people definitely seek out conflict. That is definitely much more entertaining to the common viewer than what I'm doing, you know. And the accessibility of being in media, like having your own YouTube channel or having your own Twitter account or whatever, you then are exposed and exposing yourself and participating in that give and take. And I think that one of the detriments of Mark and others who created this kind of like, or just tapped into this voyeurism, right? And this catharsis is that I can now, as a viewer, I can tell you how mad you make me, right? I can tell you in the moment. I can chat and put that shit in chat. And then I'm like, it's almost like it's like a kind of fucked up catharsis, because it gives you this false sense of like you've actually engaged in that fight. You know what I mean? Like someone is actually, that conflict, that you get to experience the juice from that conflict. Even though I don't know any of the people who I'm conflicted with on the internet. I don't really know them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And I think that is part of why we can't have nice things, is because we can't move past the gate that's been opened that allows us to be just fucking assholes to each other. Like straight up assholes. Add to that lockdown and immersion in different platforms like Telegram and whatever. Add to that an entire political party that now endorses the lying and the tearing down of others for their own personal gain, regardless of the impact on the rest of us or the entire population. Never mind the country. Don't say the country, just say the people. And I don't know how you change that. I mean, I don't think you change it. I think you figure out how to adapt to it. But I'm sure sick of people like Mark Burnett walking around being millionaires, chewing on the bones of democracy and laughing as people completely tear each other apart. So I don't know. I think that there's more to know about Mark Burnett. Definitely. I've only scratched the surface, but there's a lot of connections of his that line up with his role in propping up Trump as the nominee. And the fact that he would have information that a voting public would need to know. I don't need to know if he got peed on or said the N-word if he's not going to run for president necessarily. I've already canceled him in my mind. Trump is canceled. But I think the stakes are different. It's the same criticism I have of members of his administration who, you know, like George Conway, even though he wasn't a member, his wife, you know, or whoever, just be like, oh my God, yeah, he's terrible. Oh my God, he's terrible. Oh my God, he's so terrible. He's so terrible. But they did nothing, fuck all, to stop it until they wrote their books. And even then, they just went on the book tours. They didn't ring the alarm bells. They sat on MSNBC and CNN. I would imagine he's in all of those gals, the Council for National Policy and all that kind of stuff. You're right. Yeah, CNN versus Trump was kayfabe. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right, Max. And the fact that MSNBC and all these channels continue to cover every time he farts, you know. And my other question that I started asking myself as I was looking into Mark Burnett is who's next, right? Who's next? Roma is living the life, man. She gets to make all of her propaganda bullshit thanks to him and his dirty deals and his probably Russian money. I don't know. I haven't found anything. But again, I've only scratched the surface. I don't know. Matt Gaetz. I'm going to keep looking into him. Somewhat cynical. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think we just keep talking. Yeah, like Maggie Haberman. Control the narrative, control the enemy. And it completely fucks everyone else. It's kind of like in a corporation when you have like the spin piece that you have to come up with or something, you know, someone comes up with how you're going to spin a situation. I feel like he's the master of spin. And not in a direct way, because you don't really hear much about him, but he's made some big moves that have spun a tale. And Trump is just the latest. My question is, who's next? Is it Peter Thiel? Who's next? So, because I don't think Mark Burnett is done. And once Trump goes away, he'll slink into the background and pretend he never knew him. I guarantee it. Because he has walked that line for years. From all the public statements I can tell. So, anyway. Mark Burnett is why we can't have nice things. The end. Oh, thank you, neighbor. Anyway. Yeah. Mark Burnett is why we can't have any nice things. Oh, wait, where's my... Oh, it's over here. But first... Oh, wait, it's up here. Oops. But first...
Make sure you smoke a sufficient number of joints per day. Make sure you smoke a sufficient number of joints per day. Make sure you smoke a sufficient number of joints per day.
I will.
Make sure you smoke a sufficient number of joints per day.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thank you. He was under my radar. Thiel is gay, has a murder allegation, and is involved in surveillance. He won't be promoted. Are you kidding me, Max? Okay. I hope you're right. No, I don't know. No, he'll do just fine. Peter Thiel owns the. He probably owns Mark Burnett. No, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe someone else. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway. So that's it for me for this morning. I think I have a space scheduled on Twitter. I want to say it's for 5:00, but I don't know that. Hold on. And I'm actually not sure. Did it let me schedule it? That's what I want to know. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, bump. Sometimes Twitter makes it, acts like it's letting you do shit, and then actually it's not letting you do shit. Yeah, I don't know where's spaces. Oh, here we go. Bump, bump. Oh no, that's not it. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I think it's at 5. I think it's at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, blah blah blah. Programmable demagogue needed more than billionaire. Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right. I just wondered if he was going to wash Peter Thiel, wash him for the crowds. I don't know. I'm just guessing. That's kind of an obvious name, so there's probably someone deeper. I want to know where Tom Barrack is these days. Where is that motherfucker? I don't even know. All right. Well, thank you so much. I love you. I really do. Yeah, thanks for coming. I hope you can catch the space tonight. It's just going to be chill. I just want to relax. I want one space a week where we just have whoever wants, we can figure it out. I just want to have a little bit of a relaxing Twitter experience once a week. So, no agenda, no big fancy agenda. Okay. I will. No, I'm not unsuspended. I get my account back on Wednesday afternoon. So Wednesday afternoon, I'm back on Twitter. But apparently Spaces, if you're suspended, you can still access Spaces. It's a Twitter thing. It's not my fault. I'm not doing anything. Bill Shine. What's that mean? Why was I suspended? Because there's a couple of idiots out there who are really, really fucking jealous of me and scared. And doesn't it feel like a long week? Yeah, so they mass reported 3 innocuous tweets as if they were violent because they are so jealous of how fucking smart and adorable and funny and I can sing. Oh my God. That I guess they just thought they had to come after me. So yeah, it was literally a targeted harassment campaign. It is ongoing. And yeah, bring it. Or don't. Go away. God, go fuck yourself. How about that? That's what I have to say. Go fuck yourself. You cut me out of fucking getting my message out to thousands of people, and it will make me louder. How about that? How about that? It's going to make me louder. And you know what? Oh my God, you guys, here's the thing. So it is because I'm effective. Damn right. And you want to know something? My fucking subs went up when I was banned, bitches. You fucking idiots. I got more subs. I got more followers. I got more eyes. Oh, did it backfire? Ouch. Ooh. Shove it up the left side of your ass. See if it feels better. All right. Have a great Monday. I'll talk to you later. This is your daily down Lolo. It really is. Blah.
We'll make you laugh and think. We bring the drink, no censorship, no missing it with attitude and sass. We shake up the status quo. Daily down low. The comedy news you gotta know. Daily down low. Breaking all the rules, spreading laughing like a bunch of crazy fools. We're punk rock rebels, turning heads into beasts. So join the chaos and let the craziness begin.
Stupid, dumb.